Light from the sun takes about 8 minutes to reach Earth, so when you look at the sun, you are not seeing it as it is now, you are seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. The sun could vanish, and for 8 minutes we would not know. We would still feel its warmth, still see its light, still live in its glow. Everything we see in the sky is history. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth at a rate of about 1.5 inches per year. It has been receding since it formed, billions of years ago. Once it was much closer, much larger in the sky. The drift is gentle. We will not notice it in our lifetimes. But in a billion years, the moon will be noticeably farther, noticeably smaller. The dance between Earth and moon continues, slowly, patiently. A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. Venus rotates so slowly on its axis that it completes an entire orbit around the sun before it finishes one rotation. Imagine a world where a single day outlasts the year, where sunrise and sunset are events that happen once in what we would call many months. Time moves differently on other worlds. Saturn would float if you could find a bathtub large enough. Despite being the second largest planet in our solar system, Saturn is less dense than water. It is made mostly of gas, puffed up and light. Of course, there is no bathtub that large, and Saturn would fall apart before it touched the water. But still, a floating planet. The thought is pleasant. Neptune takes about 165 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun. A single year on Neptune is longer than most human lives. Since its discovery in 1846, Neptune has completed only one orbit. It is still, in a sense, in its first year since we found it. The outer planets live on timescales we cannot easily imagine. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, launched in 1977, is still sending signals back to Earth from over 15 billion miles away. It has left our solar system. It drifts now in interstellar space, carrying a golden record with sounds and images of Earth. The signal is faint. It takes over 22 hours to reach us, but still it speaks from the darkness between stars. Space is completely silent because there is no air to carry sound waves. Stars explode. Galaxies collide. Black holes consume matter at unimaginable speeds. And all of it happens in perfect silence. The universe is a silent film, playing out across billions of years, with no audience to hear. The International Space Station travels around Earth at about 17,500 miles per hour. It completes one orbit every 90 minutes. The astronauts aboard see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every day. And yet, inside, it feels still. They float, weightless, watching the world turn beneath them. If you could drive a car straight up into space at highway speed, it would take about an hour to reach the official boundary of space. Space is not as far as it seems. It is the getting there that is difficult. An hour of driving, and you would be among the stars, or at least above the air. Jupiter's Great Red Spot is a storm that has been raging for at least 400 years. Larger than Earth, winds howl it at hundreds of miles per hour, and it has not stopped since before telescopes were invented. Some storms have no end. Some weather simply is. The coldest known place in the universe is the Boomerang Nebula. Temperatures there drop to minus 458 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than the background temperature of space itself. Even emptiness has a temperature, and the Boomerang Nebula is colder still. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains between 100 and 400 billion stars, each one a sun, many with planets of their own, most of them invisible to our eyes, too distant, too faint. We live among more stars than we will ever count. The sun loses about 4 million tons of mass every second as it converts hydrogen into energy. 4 million tons every second for 5 billion years. And still, the sun has enough fuel to burn for another 5 billion years. The numbers are difficult to hold in mind. 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun, but the sun is considered only a medium-sized star. There are stars that would make our sun look like a marble beside a beach ball. We orbit a modest star, and we are grateful for its warmth. Neutron stars are so dense that a teaspoon of their material would weigh about 6 billion tons on Earth. Matter crushed so tightly that atoms collapse. Protons and electrons squeezed into neutrons. A teaspoon, 6 billion tons. The mind struggles to hold this. The closest star to our sun, Proxima Centauri, is about 4.24 light-years away. Its light takes over 4 years to reach us. What we see tonight left there when we were 4 years younger. Even the nearest star is impossibly far. Space is mostly distance. Astronauts in space can grow up to 2 inches taller. Without gravity compressing their spines, the vertebrae spread apart slightly. They shrink back down when they return to Earth. The body remembers gravity. The rings of Saturn are mostly made of ice and rock. Some particles are as small as grains of sand. Others are as large as houses, all of them orbiting, circling, reflecting sunlight. From a distance, they look solid. Up close, they are countless individual pieces, each on its own path. The largest known star, Stephenson 218, is so big that if it replaced our sun, its surface would extend beyond the orbit of Saturn. Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all of them would be inside this star. Some stars are beyond our ability to truly picture. There is a planet made largely of diamond called 55 Cancri e. It orbits a star about 40 light-years from Earth, a world of crystallized carbon, glittering in the dark. We will never visit it, but it is there, sparkling in the night. The Andromeda Galaxy is moving toward the Milky Way at about 250,000 miles per hour. In about 4.5 billion years, the two galaxies will merge. Stars will pass through the spaces between stars. New patterns will form. We will not be here to see it, but the dance has already begun. Mars has the largest dust storms in the solar system. Sometimes they cover the entire planet for months. The red world wrapped in red dust, hidden from view. And then, slowly, the dust settles, and Mars emerges again. Pluto is smaller than Earth's moon. The world we once called a planet, now called a dwarf planet, is a small, cold place at the edge of the solar system. Size does not determine worth. Pluto remains fascinating. A cloud of alcohol floating in space, near the constellation Aquila, contains enough ethyl alcohol to fill 400 trillion pints. It is not drinkable. It is mixed with other substances, scattered across light years. But still, the universe makes alcohol in quantities we cannot imagine. The length of a day on Jupiter is only about 10 hours. The largest planet in our solar system is also one of the fastest spinners. Its clouds race around its equator at tremendous speeds. Size and speed do not always go together as we expect. Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system. Surface temperatures around 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead, even though Mercury is closer to the Sun. Venus traps heat in its thick atmosphere, a runaway greenhouse wrapped in clouds. The Hubble Space Telescope has traveled more than 4 billion miles in its orbit around Earth since its launch in 1990. It circles the Earth, looking outward, showing us galaxies we could never see from the ground. 4 billion miles, and it has never left our neighborhood. There are mountains on Pluto made of frozen water ice, some as tall as the Rocky Mountains. On a world so cold that nitrogen freezes, water ice becomes as hard as rock. Mountains of ice standing in the dark at the edge of the solar system. The Sun's core is about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to fuse hydrogen into helium, hot enough to power a star for billions of years. We feel only the faintest hint of that heat from 93 million miles away. Uranus rotates on its side, with its axis tilted at about 98 degrees. It essentially rolls around the Sun, like a ball rolling along the ground. Something knocked it over long ago, and it has been rolling ever since. The first animal sent into orbit was a dog named Laika, aboard the Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2 in 1957. She did not return. The technology to bring her back did not yet exist. She saw the curve of the Earth. She floated in weightlessness, and she paved the way for those who came after. Light from some of the stars we see at night left those stars before humans existed. The photons striking your eyes have been traveling since before anyone was here to see them. We look at the sky and see the past. Every star is a time capsule. The largest moon in our solar system, Ganymede, is larger than the planet Mercury, a moon bigger than a planet, orbiting Jupiter, one of dozens. The solar system does not follow the rules we might expect. The Sun is about 4.6 billion years old and is roughly halfway through its life. It has burned for longer than we can comprehend. It will burn for longer still. We live beside a middle-aged star, steady and reliable. The Milky Way is about 100,000 light-years across, but only about 1,000 light-years thick. A flat disk of stars spinning in space. We live inside it, looking out through its plane. Our galaxy is vast but thin, like a pancake made of stars. Comets are often called dirty snowballs because they are made of ice, dust, and rocky material. When they approach the Sun, the ice vaporizes, creating the glowing tail we see from Earth. Snowballs from the outer solar system, visiting the Sun and then returning to the cold. The surface gravity on Mars is about 38% of Earth's gravity. You would weigh less than half what you weigh here. Jumping would be easier. Falling would be gentler. Mars would feel different underfoot, lighter, stranger. Jupiter has at least 95 known moons. Some are large enough to be worlds of their own. Others are tiny, captured asteroids, all of them orbiting the giant planet. Jupiter is a solar system in miniature. The speed of light is about 186,000 miles per second. Nothing travels faster. Light from the Sun reaches us in 8 minutes. Light from distant galaxies takes billions of years. The universe is limited by this speed. Even light must wait. There is a giant cloud of gas in space called the Pillars of Creation. Located in the Eagle Nebula, about 7,000 light-years away. Towers of hydrogen and dust where new stars are being born. Creation continues in columns of gas in the depths of space. The outer edge of our solar system, called the Oort cloud, may extend up to 100,000 times the distance from Earth to the Sun. A sphere of icy objects, loosely bound by the Sun's gravity, marking the boundary of our solar neighborhood. The solar system is larger than we usually think. Venus rotates in the opposite direction from most other planets. The Sun rises in the west and sets in the east there. Something flipped Venus long ago, and it has been spinning backwards ever since. Not all worlds follow the same rules. The temperature in the shade on the moon can drop to -280 degrees Fahrenheit. Without an atmosphere to distribute heat, the difference between sun and shadow is extreme. On the moon, shade is not relief. It is a different kind of danger. Earth's atmosphere protects us from about 100 tons of meteoric material that enters it every day. Most of it burns up, becoming shooting stars. The atmosphere does its work quietly, constantly. We are shielded by air, and we rarely think to thank it. The Great Attractor is a gravitational anomaly pulling our galaxy and millions of others toward it. We are moving towards something we cannot see at over 1,000,000 miles per hour. The universe is in motion in ways we are only beginning to understand. Water ice exists on the moon, hidden in permanently shadowed craters near the poles, places where sunlight has never reached, where ice has waited perhaps for billions of years. The moon holds water. Not much, but some. The first photograph of Earth from space was taken in 1946 from a rocket launched from New Mexico. A grainy, black and white image, the curve of the Earth visible against the darkness. For the first time, we saw ourselves from outside. If the sun were the size of a typical front door, Earth would be about the size of a nickel orbiting a door 93 million miles away. The comparison helps, a little. Mars has 2 small moons named Phobos and Deimos. In Greek, they mean fear and panic, fitting companions for the god of war. Small, misshapen, captured asteroids, circling the red planet in the dark. The observable universe is about 93 billion light-years in diameter. That is just what we can see. Beyond the horizon of light, there may be more. The universe may be infinite. We will never know for certain. Black holes are so dense that not even light can escape their gravitational pull. Once something crosses the event horizon, it is gone. No signal, no message, no light. The universe contains places of absolute finality. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter contains millions of asteroids, but they are so spread out that spacecraft can pass through easily. The belt is mostly empty space. Even 1,000,000 objects in the vastness of space are far apart. A pulsar is a rapidly spinning neutron star that emits beams of radiation. Like a cosmic lighthouse, it sweeps its beams across space, detectable if we happen to be in the way. The universe is full of signals we are only beginning to receive. The first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, was launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957. A small metal sphere, beeping as it orbited the Earth. It began the space age and everything that followed. The temperature on the surface of the sun is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to vaporize anything we know, and yet much cooler than the core. There is a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way called Sagittarius A star, with a mass of about 4 million suns, holding the galaxy together with its gravity. At the heart of our galaxy, there is darkness, and we orbit it. The Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune, contains millions of icy bodies, including the dwarf planet Pluto, a region of frozen objects, remnants from the formation of the solar system. The solar system did not end at Neptune. It continues into the cold. Radio signals from Earth have traveled about 100 light-years into space. Any civilization within that distance could potentially detect us, our broadcasts, our transmissions, spreading outward. We have been announcing ourselves, without meaning to, for a century. The tallest cliff in the solar system is Verona Rupes on Uranus's moon Miranda. About 12 miles high. If you jumped off, you would fall for over 10 minutes before hitting the ground. A cliff beyond anything on Earth, on a small moon far away. A comet's tail always points away from the sun, pushed by solar wind and radiation. Even as the comet moves, the tail streams behind or ahead, always pointing outward. One day on Saturn lasts only about 10.7 hours. The second largest planet, spinning quickly, its clouds racing around its equator. Large planets can move fast. The Crab Nebula is the remnant of a supernova that was observed by Chinese astronomers in 1054 AD. A star exploded nearly 1,000 years ago, and the debris is still expanding. We watched a star die, and we can still see its remains. Io, one of Jupiter's moons, is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. Hundreds of volcanoes, constant eruptions, a world reshaped by fire and sulfur. Even moons can be violent. The sun converts about 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium every second, for billions of years, and it will continue for billions more. The sun is patient, and it has plenty of fuel. Earth is the only planet not named after a Greek or Roman god. Mars, Jupiter, Venus, all gods. But Earth is simply Earth, the ground, home. We named it after what we stand on, not what we worship. The distance from Earth to the Sun is called an astronomical unit. About 93 million miles, a convenient measure for distances within the solar system. We use our distance from the Sun to measure everything else. The first successful landing on another planet was the Soviet Venera 7 on Venus in 1970. It survived for 23 minutes on the surface before the heat and pressure destroyed it. 23 minutes on another world. It was enough. White dwarfs are the remaining cores of dead stars. They can take trillions of years to cool down completely, longer than the current age of the universe. Some things take longer to fade than the universe has existed. The Perseid meteor shower, visible every August, is caused by debris from Comet Swift-Tuttle. Earth passes through the comet's trail. The debris burns up in our atmosphere. We see shooting stars. Every August, the sky offers a gentle show. The magnetic field of Jupiter is the strongest of any planet in our solar system, about 20,000 times stronger than Earth's, powerful enough to trap charged particles, creating deadly radiation belts. Jupiter is fierce, even in ways we cannot see. Triton, Neptune's largest moon, orbits in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation. It was probably captured, a wanderer from the outer solar system, caught by Neptune's gravity. Triton does not belong, but it stays. The first Mars rover, Sojourner, landed on Mars in 1997. It was about the size of a microwave oven. It explored for 83 days, far exceeding its planned mission. Small things can do remarkable work. There are more atoms in a single glass of water than there are glasses of water in all the oceans of Earth. The very small and the very large meet in unexpected ways. A glass of water contains multitudes. The equator of the sun rotates faster than its poles. Because the sun is made of plasma, not solid material, different parts can move at different speeds. The sun is not rigid, it flows. Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, has geysers that shoot water ice into space. Beneath its icy surface, there may be an ocean. The geysers are windows into a hidden world. Life, if it exists elsewhere, might be found in such places. The light we see from the Andromeda Galaxy left there about 2.5 million years ago. We see it as it was when early humans first walked the Earth. Looking at Andromeda is looking into deep time. Cosmic microwave background radiation is the afterglow of the Big Bang, still detectable everywhere in the universe, a faint glow left over from the birth of everything. The universe remembers its beginning, and we can hear it. The dwarf planet Ceres, in the asteroid belt, contains about 1/3 of the total mass of the entire belt. One object holding 1/3 of everything. The rest is scattered among millions of smaller pieces. Ceres is the quiet giant of the asteroid belt. Solar flares can release the energy of millions of nuclear bombs in just a few minutes. Bursts of energy from the sun's surface, powerful enough to disrupt satellites and power grids on Earth. The sun is mostly gentle, but sometimes it is not. The first space station was Salyut 1, launched by the Soviet Union in 1971. Humans could now live in space for extended periods. The station was a beginning. From Salyut to the International Space Station, we have learned to stay.